Here we go. All right, move over, kids, because it is time for the Saturday podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have Devin joining us from Rat Boy Collectibles. He was able to pull a scoop of a lot of scoops with Astro Chain. You got that on Tuesday. So you've been playing it more so than the average person. Somehow, some way, we won't name names of which store you got it from, but we can all pretty much guess which store usually releases stuff early.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Devin, on Astro Chain? Give me a complete breakdown or whatever you can give me. Tell me, because I actually have yet to play Astro Chain, so I've been hearing like it's a must.
Oh, it definitely is. It's a very fun game. It starts out like almost like an action movie. You're riding a motorcycle down this in like a high speed chase in like this tunnel or something like that. It's an interesting startup. I love
Thoughts, Devin, on Astro
the
Chain?
thing
Give
that
me
you
a
can use in the
complete.
game, the astral chain itself, that you can use
From when this place
connect
was
it
founded in
between
19...
the thing that they call the Legion
Uh-huh.
and your character. It's cool because you can wrap it around the enemies
Break.
and get them tied down to the ground, or if they dash at you, you can use it as like a clothesline and like fling them backwards. It's really cool.
Is it EPS? What's up, my man? Is it difficult? It looked like I just wonder if I'm going to be able to play the game. How like difficult is it to? Because in essence, are you like two players or what's going on with it?
Essentially, yes, you are two players. I think there's actually a two-player mode to the game where one person controls the Legion and the other person controls the character.
Oh, that would be cool.
It is pretty complex to understand. I'm still stuck on a boss battle. Technically I'm not. I beat it and then I died after the boss battle, because you can either choose to have it on what's essentially easy mode, where you get these restart charges that they call them.
Uh-huh.
And the easy mode has like 6 or 5 or something like that, and the normal mode, where it actually gives you the letter rankings, has 2. So I'm not that good at it yet.
Okay. Chris Carlio, what up? Yo, yo, yo. David will be joining us here shortly. He was actually on, but then he had to cut out because he was getting an error message. So David is frantically trying to get on. So more about Astro Chain. Is it Bayonetta? Is it Bayonetta 2.0? Because it's like from the same people, Platinum Games. Can you see Bayonetta?
What's up?
Go on. Never mind.
It's got the same style as Bayonetta, definitely, because you can see the way, like the way that the characters move and the way that they shoot their guns and things like that. It reminds me of how the actions Bayonetta takes. In my opinion, I love Bayonetta. Don't get me wrong. This game is it's trumping it. It's way cooler.
Whoa, that's a heavy statement. You're telling me I want to give a shout out to J Magician, JR Magician, Dan Caro, and of course Destiny Little. Hey, you're saying that it's better than Bayonetta? Bayonetta has been like it's been like the beat 'em up, shoot 'em up game to beat for the last like couple of years now.
I don't know. It's just in my opinion, like they're both here, but Astral Chain is just a little bit higher. Like it's got that cool factor that I wanted out of Bayonetta that couldn't really keep me in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. I just like it, and it's also part of the like. There's also like a whole detective thing about it too, which I think is interesting as well.
Yeah, I heard there was different levels or aspects of it. So tell me what is the Astral Chain? I mean, I get it. It's an actual chain that you just take control of somebody. Like,
it's these characters. I think from what I'm understanding, they're all these evil creatures called Chimera, and
Chimera.
all of the last remaining humans went off of, I'm guessing, what they consider to be Earth, and live on this floating island called the Ark. So they're fighting against these Chimera because they're like transporting in with these weird portals from another world, basically. And when I haven't even gotten that far into the game to know, I guess, but you take control of this thing called the Legion, which is, I guess, a controlled Chimera. So when you have that astral chain connected to them, your character is connected to them, and you almost control them in a way.
Really?
So that's why David was saying it's kind of like Pokemon in a way, because I think you'll be able to get into it where you'll be able to capture another Legion eventually, but I don't know if that's true.
Hang on one second. It looks like we are having some technical difficulties. The problem is you can't really see it. It tends to. I remember the last time we had technical difficulties. It was on a 4th of July weekend. I wonder if it's just everybody trying to suck from the same internet cesspool of everything. Let me. Hopefully, I don't want to end the podcast, but I also don't want to have a crappy podcast.
Wow.
Okay, so. Tell me more. So Astro Chain, you're fighting these bad guys, right? So the Ark, is it like are you living in harmony with this other? Are these the aliens that have invaded, or what?
They almost seem like an invasion of some sort, because they come in and start like taking over humans, because it seems like they can actually infect them and start using human bodies and turning them into chimera. Like I said, I only got like 2 hours into the game, so I don't know a lot about the story just yet.
Okay. How did you? So you got the game on Tuesday? It came out on Chris says it has gotten better for me. So hopefully, Chris, let me know if it gets worse. Maybe that's one of the issues with David's having right now. How did you get it early?
Well, long story short, I went into Walmart over near in a shopping area that I live near. They always seem to put these games out for the Switch. I saw Mario Kart 8, plethora of Switch games.
Good old Walmart.
I just decided to try. The guy said, "Well, the price isn't coming up." Puts it in manually, and I sat there with my jaw dropped. I'm like, "Okay, here's the money." Ran out the store. They sold it, not my problem.
No, that has never happened to me, dude. If that happened to me, I would have been like streaming that till the wheels fell off.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to. I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah. Is this a game that you're gonna finish? I know you play. I know you start a lot of games and don't finish it. Do you think this is gonna be one of them?
I think I will actually finish this one, definitely.
I finished the game today. Actually, it's been a minute. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I actually finished that game. Have you finished that one?
I'm a decent way into it, but not finished yet. No,
dude. I'll tell you what. That game, you think you're done, and then you're not, and then you think you're done, and then you're not. Where are you at Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
I'm pretty sure I just got to Stark Tower and the Ultron robots are attacking.
Yeah, you're not almost done. You are not almost done.
No. I was a decent way.
Yeah,
I know I'm not that much into it.
Calf, what is up? I'll tell you what, they have a really cool boss battle. They try really hard in Marvel Ultimate Alliance to really incorporate everybody. Like,
I can't wait for the DLC. There actually was apparently a free costume download recently. I think it was for Colossus, Cyclops, and one other character.
Yeah, those Cyclops and Colossus have been introduced to the Marvel universe at this point. Looks like we got David joining us again. Probably had to restart everything. Look at that. Look at this David guy right here. Oh, there he is. Hey, David, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're great. I was just telling him. Can you guess the game that I beat today?
New or old?
What?
Okay, Fire Emblem.
No, not Fire Emblem. I have a Fire Emblem dilemma. Maybe you guys can help me out with in the chat too. But the game I beat today was Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
I think you guys just went mute on me. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear.
We can hear you.
Thumbs up. I can hear
you guys.
I can hear David. So David can't hear us. So let's just keep talking. Here's my Fire Emblem dilemma. Devin and David, when you can hear us, just chime in. But okay, so I restarted Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Right, because I didn't like the house I was. It was just like I didn't like it. I was as over the last couple of weeks, I've told you, like, I'm the only guy on the internet that has had anything negative to say about Fire Emblem. So I restarted it, hoping that would like rejuvenize me. And then I was liking it, but I find it's too easy now. The problem is I have it on normal mode, so
Okay.
I can't I don't want to be like, oh, this game's too easy, but it's on normal mode. If I want a challenge, I should have made it a hard mode. But the problem is I've restarted this game twice already. This is like 30 hours now. I've invested into this game. 10 hours the first time, 20 hours the second time. Now I'm just kind of like, I don't want to restart the game again just to be on difficulty. And do you get what I'm saying? I know this is a first world problem, but am I about to like give up on Fire Emblem altogether?
I don't know if I dump that much time into it and go like, dude, I don't want to restart it. But then there's some games that just drag me back in. Like I was just watching a YouTube video about Wind Waker, and I want to play Wind Waker so bad right now.
Don't get me
started. And I've beaten that game like 4 or 5 times over.
Yeah, that game. What is it about that game? What is it about Wind Waker that makes you want to just play that? Like, for real, dude, what do you think it is? Because I'm with you, man. I see a screenshot of those open seas, or I was playing Smash Brothers, and there's a level where there's a Wind Waker level, and just that animation, just the poof of the cannonball smoke is enough to get me wanting to play Wind Waker again.
For me, I don't know. I think it was the artwork, honestly. I remember everybody going like, what in the world is this? And then I played it and fell in love with it. I love the vibrant colors and everything. I loved the choo-choos, the little slime creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Purple and green, and how vibrantly colored they were. I love that. And I don't know. Everything about that game just was fantastic. Loved it.
And that game gets knocked for having very little dungeons, and for a while I used to think that and bought into that, like, oh yeah, there's only 2 dungeons. There's really a lot more dungeons than people give it credit for. The only thing that really bogs it down is towards the end in the GameCube version of you have to collect the Triforce as opposed to you click the pieces of the Triforce in the water, but I didn't even have a problem with that. I was like, I wanted the game to drag out, because I'll tell you what, there was a piece of me, Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker, when those games ended, there was a piece of me that ended too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I never even beat Wind Waker on the Wii U. I beat it at least 3 or 4 times on the GameCube itself. I played through a bunch of it on the Wii U, but I just it's the whole thing of hooking it up was just such a pain, even though I'm tempted to do it right now. Dude,
oh man, I'll tell you what, there's been a couple times where I've been tempted one more time, Wind Waker, because if I knew for sure Nintendo would never re-release it on the if Nintendo would never re-release it on the Switch, then I would probably hook it up and play. But if they did a combo, a Wind Waker, anything, but Wind Waker on the Switch would be crazy. David, can you hear me?
I would play.
I can hear you guys. Can you see me?
I can see you, David.
I can't see myself, but I'm here.
You look beautiful, man. You look beautiful. Don't worry.
That's another thing. David was on our little Facebook chat and posted up the release date for Castle Crashers. I completely forgot that was even coming out. I'm so excited for that too.
What is Castle Crashers?
David, explain it.
Castle Crashers is like a side-scrolling beat 'em up style, reminiscent of like Final Fight. Or but it's not like they're not tall humanoid characters. They're little guys. They're like little tiny guys that
made
are
by the same people who made Alien Hominid, Behemoth.
Mm-hmm, the Behemoth.
And they also had Battle Block Theater.
Battle Block Theater. Yep. They had their start on Newgrounds. That website, Newgrounds.
Is it a 4-player game or is it a 2-player game?
Apparently it's 5-player, which is
5-player.
Yeah.
It used to only be 4. They upped it.
The pink one is a new addition to the team.
That's weird. 5 players. I don't know why. Just whenever it's an odd number, like 5 players, that's just weird to me.
It's hectic, but it's a great game. I hope they add some more stuff into that.
Yeah,
I love that game so
the art
much.
style is great.
I think I might maybe I'll get that because I have a 6-year-old 7-year-old. He turned 7. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance was really fun with him. A little frustrating because we probably could have beat the game a little quicker, but really fun playing with him. And I think that type of beat 'em up, almost like borderline button smashing, is probably the type of games I need to play for a little bit with the fam. And same with my wife. She's a casual gamer. So do you think, would you recommend that game for the Skinner clan?
Probably.
Yeah, I would. If it gets too hard, I would tone the difficulty down a little bit.
We usually play on normal. And I'll tell you what, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, even playing on normal, there are some times those boss battles just became like obnoxious. Just obnoxious.
Yeah, that Sandman one had me going for a while.
Yeah. And I have a well, let's talk about Bayonetta with you, David. Let's get some Bayonetta, or not Bayonetta, Bayonetta's
Astral Chain?
brother, Astral Chain. Tell me what your feelings of an Astral Chain are. I know you haven't got too far in, but what's your take so far?
Yeah, I'm about 2 hours in. I played it last night, and it's your quintessential Platinum games. It's very action driven. The art style and the way it looks, it's very intense and in your face. It's almost campy, like over the top. But that's what makes it great. That's what makes their games great.
The beginning felt like an action movie to me, where you're racing down that tunnel.
Right, and
I thought that was cool.
and it's a beautiful game.
Yeah,
Like,
it really is.
the colors, the way it pops out, I really think it's using the Switch to its full potential. And it kind of reminds me that the Switch still packs a punch.
Oh man, Witcher
So-
3. If they can get Witcher 3 on, you can do anything.
And this just kind of goes to prove that they're getting The Witcher 3, they're getting Skyrim. I mean, pretty soon we're gonna have Fallout 4, we're gonna have Doom Eternal. I mean, it's the Switch is looking it's looking high on top of the hill. So
If you had to compare them right now, what's better? Switch, PlayStation 4.
there's so many fronts I could approach this.
Yeah, I have a biased approach on that one.
If you're talking about like JRPG alone, I'm pretty sure the Nintendo Switch already is like a JRPG machine just
Yeah.
2 years in.
It took over the Vita. Whatever space the Vita had, the Switch just ate it up. So JRPG machine, definitely.
Yeah, if we're talking about like intellectual properties, the games that you can get on it, the Switch for sure. I mean, you can't play Mario anywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about like technical prowess and graphical fidelity, then
When it's all said and done, and you're on a deserted island
yeah,
with an outlet and a TV,
Mhm.
what did you bring with you? A Switch or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One?
a Switch.
A Switch.
Yeah, just because, I mean, just the practicality standpoint, the wires,
It's smaller.
The wires.
smaller, you can fit in your lap, right? You don't have to like plug it into a TV and charge the controller, and the Switch is right there on
I
your
like
lap.
you're on a deserted island and you're still like, I don't have time for this. I can't plug it in.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially die here. I want to die happy, And
Yeah.
All right, if you guys want to die happy, get the Switch. You heard it you can quote David on that. What about you, Devin? Where are you on the deserted island? Are you bringing a PlayStation, an Xbox, or a Nintendo Switch?
Honestly, and I say this from the aspect of having all three consoles myself, definitely the Switch. Like, not just because I'm a Nintendo fan.
And
there's a lot of good games on the PS4 and the Xbox, but the Switch has had my attention pretty much since day one. There has not been a day that I didn't go, oh, let me just throw Zelda on or something. I'll play my Xbox and stuff like that, but I have yet to touch my PS4 in ages. Until
right.
Catherine Full Body comes out, I probably won't.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't touched my PS4 in like a year, to be honest. I actually had an email, which I need to cancel, but Sony renewed my online subscription for one more year. And I realized, I was like, wow, it's been a year since I've dusted that thing off. The
Yeah.
last time I used it was for Fortnite, and I haven't played Fortnite in a year as well. So there's a lot of games on the PS4 that I want to play, like Nier Automata and
That's on
like
the Xbox.
Persona and Persona 5. It is on Xbox. It's I think on Xbox it's digital only. It's not a physical. But
No, I think they have a physical for Nier. I'm pretty sure. I thought I saw it.
I think I'm gonna get it on the Xbox then. But
But the only reason why I really still want my PS4 right now, and the only reason I'm keeping it, is because of that Silent Hill trailer that I have. Not a lot of people have that bad boy.
Yeah, yours has value then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have digital value to yours.
Dude, the scariest video game I've ever played in my life. I am never losing that.
I don't think I've ever played a scary video game except
if you
for
ever
like
get the chance, dude. That is terrifying.
Like back in the Nintendo days, I played Friday the 13th. I'm talking NES. You should really look. You compare the NES Jason to the Jason of Friday the 13th, and where you're the killer. Worlds are different.
Yeah,
or Maniac Mansion also I played.
Oh, that's
from the very.
Sorry, go on, David.
No, I was just gonna say from the very little I saw Ken play Resident Evil 5. I don't know if he could handle anything that's more intense than that. To be honest.
Yeah, I blocked up my memory. I blocked it out. It was too intense for me. I'm like, what's going on? David and I, we went to E3 together, and after shaking hands with Doug Bowser, we went and played some Resident Evil 5, and woo, buddy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I don't think I could handle it.
I wasn't scared. I was just scared that you and I couldn't make a proper team to survive that level, man. It's like, what if it was real life? You know, we would be long gone.
Dude, in real life, I'm either going to be the leader of the zombie resistance or I'm dead. Like, I'm not a supporting cast member. I'm first to go or the leader. You know, I have no value as a human in the zombie resistance, except for I can give inspiring speeches when they're needed.
But are you guys gonna be into Dead by Daylight when it comes out for the Switch?
That's a Friday the 13th PG It's just weird to me. I'm not a big horror fan. I'm happy it's on the my channel is PG, but I'm happy when these M for Mature type games get on the Switch, and I am not a video games cause violence person, even though I typically don't play those types of games.
Right.
So
I'm just I was excited to see, if you're a Stranger Things fan, the Demogorgon is going to be one of the killers of the game.
Oh, really?
Happy to see that.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have Steve and Nancy as the characters that are in there as well.
That actually changes some things for me, actually, because the Demogorgon to me is one of the scariest modern creatures of.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, because I mean, if without spoiling Stranger Things 3, that villain in Stranger Things 3 was just not as scary as the Demogorgon from Stranger Things 1.
Yeah, I can agree. I haven't even gotten through all of Stranger Things 3 yet, but yeah, I agree.
There was just something about, maybe it was just something so new, you know, and you weren't used to Stranger Things, but that Demogorgon, it's this thing that just it's imagine this really evil, creepy, skinny flower that just like opens up a Venus flytrap for a face, and it just wants to just your whole mouth or whatever you want to be. That's a Demogorgon. And
it's so terrifying. I was actually surprised that they're adding my favorite horror character ever made, Ash Williams, as one of the survivors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, Dead by Daylight.
I don't know if it's actually out yet, but
Yeah.
I definitely want it when it comes out on the Switch.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that I really appreciate its I guess it's crossovers. The Dead by Daylight has Jason Voorhees, and it's got Michael Myers, and it's got
Leatherface. He's got
Leatherface.
Jigsaw.
Yeah, you've got
Jason
Freddy
Jason is
Krueger's
in
it,
Dead
I
by
think.
Daylight.
Yeah, there's a lot of iconic representation as far as like.
I'm trying to remember. It's definitely got Freddy Krueger, Jigsaw, Ash Williams, Demogorgon.
The Hellraiser guy. The
Pinhead's in it?
Yeah, I think Pinhead's in it.
And Psycho. Psycho's also in it. I forget his name.
That's a
Norman
lot of
Bates.
people, actually. I'm not a horror fan, but I know all these people, so I'm pretty impressed. It's like Smash Brothers Ultimate for the horror people.
Basically, yeah. And they all have their own little like special ability. And there's also at least 5 or 6 killer characters that they made up for the game specifically. So
I'm
there's
just
a lot
surprised
of
they
stuff.
put Jason in since they just released the Friday the 13th version, and it's pretty much the same game as far as I know.
It's essentially the same game, yeah, but I don't know. The Friday the 13th game had a completely different thing about it. This has got something weird where you have to offer them up to this like demon spider god. It's creepy.
Well, Dead by Daylight. I guess if there needed to be a creepy game, are there any creepy Nintendo first-party games? EPS says Skyward Sword was creepy, but I don't know. I never got past the first plant.
I never even played Skyward Sword.
Can you guys think of any first-party creepy? Because I mean, Luigi's Mansion, it's not really creepy.
No,
I mean, Tingle almost got a horror game from what I hear, but
I can think of scary things in first party Nintendo games, like the EO and Super Mario 64, or like the piano with teeth.
Oh god.
Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time.
Right, those guys are creepy.
What about Bongo Bongo from Ocarina of Time as well?
Yep.
That thing creeped me out.
Pretty much tons and tons of things from Majora's Mask.
Freaked me out, man. Those likes. That's the name of the enemy, right? It's the like these. They look like these. I don't even know how to describe it, but they swallow you up and they remove your shield.
Yep, likes.
Oh, I hated those things.
Yeah, those are weird.
Redeads.
Pop out. Redeads freaked me out, man. I was in 3rd grade when I was playing this game, and Ocarina of Time. I got it for $20 at the flea market, and it's still in my top 10 games of all time. But I wanted to see what it was all about, so I started a save file that was already in progress from the previous owner, and it was spoiler alert, but it's when young Link pulls the sword out and turns into adult Link, right? And you go into the future, this post-apocalyptic future where you're at the Temple of Time and everything's just barren and a wasteland.
Yeah.
And you could hear like the crows in the background and the Redead. I was just like, oh my goodness, what is this game? I was freaking out.
I don't know. Back in that time when I first played that game, the zombies that would like when you got in their view, it would like automatically aim you at them.
The Redeads.
Yeah, those are the Redeads.
Freaked me out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to run away. Come on.
I don't know which Redead was scarier either. The Redeads in Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker, because the Wind Waker ones were animated, like cartoony, but they were still kind of like, and they just bite your head.
What's the ones with the lanterns? The Poe?
Pose. I love Pose, and I want them to make a comeback. And I thought the Wizrobes were Pose, but they're not.
Yeah,
from Breath of the Wild. And I was like, yes, Pose are back, but they're not Pose.
I'm surprised Pose weren't in. Pose are Link to the Past, I think, is when they Pose started. Unless you consider in Zelda #1, there is a graveyard that has ghosts in it, but they're not called Pose. Maybe unless those were like the predecessors to the Pose.
I think the next to the Shadow Temple, I think the creepiest temple in Ocarina of Time is the Forest Temple, and it's not really because of like shock horror, but it's more about like an eerie kind of overgrown area that really that hasn't really had any human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that temple?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. It's
That one freaks me out. It's just in more of like an eerie sense.
mm-hmm.
But even the soundtrack for that, and the soundtrack for the Fire Temple before it was edited by Nintendo. You know, when it had the vocal chants instead of the MIDI tracks. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that really kind of, scares me kind of quite a bit, man, not gonna lie.
I went back and just played Zelda number 1 actually, and oh, man, I'll tell you what, they were unforgiving. Nintendo didn't give any clues back in the day, or their clues were so cryptic, like you just burn bushes until you find a palace. Nowadays they handheld you. I mean, even Breath of the Wild, eventually there are some clues, but it took me a long time to figure out how to shield surf in Breath of the Wild, because there's only one guy who really teaches you how to do it, and there's so many things in Breath of the Wild. I wonder how much I've yet to discover Breath of the Wild. I want to go back and play it, but I'm too afraid that I'm not going to have a breather in between Breath of the Wild 1 and Breath of the Wild 2. Do you guys ever think like that? You got to strategically plan if you could replay a game?
Yeah, I guess if you give it another playthrough, it would be a little more streamlined, right? You'll know exactly where to go to find Korok seeds and shrines and whatnot, right?
Yes
You
and
know
no.
exactly how many hearts to have where you pull out the sword.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it would be a little difficult though, still, in that. Yeah, I know I could beat those stupid champions, the Guardians and everything, but it would still, like, you forget it all. You're just like, then the knowledge that you still retain kind of gets in the way, because you're like, wait, I did it like this last time, but it's actually just a little off. So, like, sometimes going in with just a little bit of knowledge can actually hinder you. And the Korok seeds, it's like, do I really know where 900 of those Korok seeds are? I can't remember where any of them are. I mean, granted, now I know that if I see a stone pattern that's a circle missing one stone, or if I see something, like if I see some stones in the water, I just gotta throw something in the middle of it, then it would be faster, and I think, though, take more time, because I'll tell you what, I was never good at beating Lionels. I just could not beat Lionels, and
They were tough.
I beat one.
I think I beat only 2, and because I was cheating.
They get harder, man. There's like gold Lionels.
I know.
And
I
there's
had
like shadow Lionels that have like fire eyes, and it's like, oh my gosh. Like the Lionel inside of Ganon's castle. It's like, wow, this guy is intense, man.
Dude, I remember I just stumbled upon, you know what I did when I played the VR the first time? I just picked a random save point, and it was that Lionel. I was just like, oh my god, it was like he was coming at me, and I'm in VR.
So speaking of enemies, I mean, what are some predictions for Breath of the Wild 2? Do you think we'll get, because it looks like they're like in a cavern of some sort, do you think we'll get creepier and unique enemies? Do you think we'll get like return bows and return of Redeads and likes? Do you think we'll see more of your typical Zelda baddie?
I hope the Redeads are back. I really do. Those Redeads, those things are so creepy. And if we're going to be in the cavern, I mean, Ganon already looks like a Redead. So I wouldn't mind. Now, how long are they in the cavern for? Are they going to get out of the cavern? When do they get out of the cavern? Is it just the open world now? There's just so many possibilities. And at any point, all Ganon has to do is say, raise up 8 dungeons. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Because think of like how creative a Guardian is as an enemy. Because they're all about pushing the envelope for gameplay, and taking down a Guardian in the beginning of the game is hard.
Yeah.
Most of the time you have to run away from a Guardian, So how do you think they can reinvent the wheel this time around, creating more unique enemies to the game?
That's a tough one. I mean, you could always say Ganon he boosts their energy or something, so like it's like double or triple the power. Because I hope they don't do an Ash Ketchum where you start back off. I wouldn't mind starting back off with 3 hearts, but I mean, Link has to have the Master Sword to begin with. You know what I mean? He has to have certain skills to begin with. And Ash, like every anime, I mean, Pikachu by the end of the anime is like super tough, but then when he restarts, he's losing to a Sparrow or whatever, I don't want Link to be completely forgotten everything he has learned. He should still be able to, I would say he should still even be able to. It might make it too easy, though. Like, should he have Rivali's Gale right away? Should he have Minfa's Blessing right away? Or Bosa's whatever? Like, what do you think about that? That was a good question, Dave. I never really thought about that. How do you make it hard the second time when this is a full-fledged sequel, like, happening right after the fact? I don't know.
I don't know. I always... Sorry, go on, David.
Sorry, David. Go ahead. I didn't really have a. I was just gonna spitball there, but.
The only thing I was thinking of is that if it's starting off right after, that how some games like Mass Effect comes into play here, where the second the when you finish the last game, all the progress and like the people that you befriended and all that went on to the next game.
Yeah.
I was thinking that in Breath of the Wild 2, however, because it was so open world that if you really wanted to, you could go right to Ganon, even though it would be hard beyond reason to do, you could still do it. However you ended Breath of the Wild 1 is how you step into Breath of the Wild 2. If you only had a stick in your hand, that's what you got, and then you go on from there.
That would be sweet if they did that kind of continuation, and...
Or if they had something where Link gets horrifically attacked and breaks the Sheikah Slate, thusly keeping him from using all the Guardian powers.
That's a good point, too. That's a really good point. This gave me an idea of a video, because if the Sheikah Slate is broken, then the quest in the beginning is fixing the Sheikah Slate.
Yeah, or what if like the Sheikah Slate is like kind of like a cell phone, right? It can only have its power if you're in high roll. But if this is like low roll, then it's null and void, right? Doesn't work.
I highly doubt they're going to
that's
low
why
roll.
Or something like that, where the power of the Sheikah whatever can't reach Link because he's in another dimension or somewhere where it's unfamiliar, right? Or it breaks, something like that.
But that also gets really deep, though, because there some people that think the Sheikah's like power resides from the gods of Hylia, the Hylia herself. So
I've heard some theories that it's that Ganon corpse that is the power. And that's why they've held him down there for so long, because he was the one that was powering everything. But that doesn't hold true if you think about it, because in the tale, all of the Guardians attacked Calamity Ganon at one point, and so I guess it could still actually be true. I just don't think Ganon is the power source, but would serve him right if he was. But man, I didn't think of that. If you broke that Sheikah Slate and you had to fix it, that would be a good way to start him off. The first 3 palaces or dungeons you have to kind of do in order to repair the Sheikah Slate. First couple missions to get you back in the swing of things. But I want to know what is Zelda doing? Are we gonna get? Do you want to play Zelda? Do you want Zelda in this one like full time, or do you think she needs to be captured?
I have a feeling that this actually might be the first time we'll actually play Zelda. I think she's way more powerful, way more into it, other than just being the damsel in distress. This one, she actually held back Ganon for hundreds of years, so she's way more powerful than she's ever been.
Yeah, Do you think? And then the most important question, though, are we going to get the kiss? Are they going to actually kiss? If they kiss, there can be no 3. There can be no sort of Breath of the Wild 3. It's over.
Valid point. I don't know. That's a valid point. But I honestly I would actually welcome being able to like 2-player co-op on Breath of the Wild. 1 player as Link and 1 as Zelda. I think that'd be great.
What if they just let you choose? Just like, you get to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe in the beginning that you remember how the Sonic game for the GameCube had like the good, the bad, and the neutral storyline.
Oh, Heroes?
Yeah. If you could go on like Zelda's storyline and then go on Link's storyline and having it have 2 branching paths.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Zelda would everybody would pick Zelda, even the haters. Even the haters would pick Zelda just because it would be so fresh and new.
You want to know what happens. Like, yeah, we've been playing as Link for 20, 30 years now. You want to see what happens if you're a completely different person.
Yeah. And what about you, David? If you have to pick right now, who would you want to be? Zelda or Link or Tingle?
If Tingle shows up in Breath of the Wild 2, I will laugh so hard.
I hope he does, man. I'm a Tingle fan. I'm pro Tingle.
He's the power source for Ganon. To be honest, it would be a lot of fun to play as Zelda, but I want to jump back into the Link's tunic, man. I want to jump back and just to see how he feels. One thing I really love about games is like if you're playing the first game in the series and then you play the second game in the series, I love the feeling of familiarity, but at the same time like a sense of discovery as well, because it's a sequel, so they probably refined the controls a little bit. Maybe it looks a little bit better, but it's still Link doing a spin slash or something, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I would just like to kind of feel him out a little bit and see how his control scheme is, and then I'd probably play as Zelda.
Do you think Link needs to start with the Master Sword? I mean, that Link in the cavern has the Master Sword. Do you think Link needs to start with the Master Sword?
That would be too OP, I would think. Too overpowered.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I mean, why would he put it down? Like,
let's say Zelda says, Link, we've sealed Ganon's, fate or whatever. It is time to return the sword back to where it came from, right? And he puts it back on the pedestal, and everybody is on their merry way for X amount of years. And then they're on this expedition or whatever they're doing, and then they just run to the middle of trouble. And now they're just, sitting ducks. They don't have the Master Sword. They don't really have Sheikah slates. They just have what's around them, sticks, and kind of like the way you started in Breath of the Wild.
I don't see Link getting rid of the Master Sword. You have the Master Sword, you keep that Master Sword until you're dying, and then you put it back in its place.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I would say that he would probably have to lose it. I don't know. Well, who's to say that trailer that they showed is even right in the beginning of the game? That could be like 20 hours in.
Could you imagine if that was? What would the first 20 hours be? Gosh.
I don't know, but there's nothing telling us that that's the direct...
You could always have him lose the Master Sword. Like, suddenly Ganon just, like, straight up grabs the Master Sword and runs away.
True.
Yeah. Or he could... his power source is from the Master Sword in some sense. Maybe he manifests the power from the sword and drains it of its power or something, so there's some type of witchcraft or something, some type of dark entity, kind of like Zant. You know how Zant was to Ganon and Twilight Princess? Maybe he has like a right-hand man that does like his evil bidding and makes him stronger,
I think all the calamities... I think all the calamities was his right-hand man. I think Ganon, his hate was just manifesting, and everything we fought wasn't really even Ganon. It was just his hate, and that's how much he hates everybody. He just can manifest that stuff. Kind of like, if you were thinking something and it just like poof became true. I think that's what Ganon was doing. He just hated things so bad.
So if you follow that theory, what do you I don't know if you've ever heard of this one, that the theory that Hyrule Warriors is actually the connecting point that puts Breath of the Wild at the end of every timeline?
I hope they do that, actually, because out of all the things I've seen, Hyrule Warriors actually does allow it to happen. The only reason why I don't see that happening is because it's not a Nintendo property. It's a third-party game. I don't think Nintendo is going to let that be the thing. Miyamoto probably barely knows about that game. He probably was like, oh, that's fun. And
he doesn't even know that game exists.
yeah, he's like,
what? When did we give him permission to do this?
Right.
4 years later.
He's like, what? Don't you guys remember Phillips? He's still living. I love Miyamoto, but man, I'll tell you what, Hyrule Warriors would have been a brilliant way because they did cross timelines and they did cross this and cross that, and it would be a brilliant way to make it. That would be the thing that converges timelines.
The game theory guy, Matt Pat, did a whole video about this, saying how that would connect every single one of them and put Breath of the Wild where they say it's supposed to be.
Really? Are you kidding me? I could have made that video. Dang it.
I don't know how long ago he did it, but it's in depth. You should watch it.
I don't know how the story is gonna pan out, but gameplay wise, I think I would just like to see, your standard temples return. I think that the beasts were fun, and they were fun to climb up and go inside, but it never felt like a true temple in my opinion.
You want to see the fire, the water, all that stuff come back.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be elemental things like that. It could be like, maybe just a temple in the forest, but not necessarily a forest temple. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to get an item at the end of it or in the middle of it that helps you beat the boss.
But if they are still elemental, do you want the tunics back?
I think the tunics would be fun. I think that's another good point. I would love to just have costumes, the customizability.
Well, they let you do that. They do let you do that.
I love that. That's what I love, and I love that they got a little bit cheeky, and you could have the tunic from Ocarina of Time, or the tunic from Twilight Princess, and the tunic from. Help me out here. What was another big tunic that they had?
Wind Waker too, I think.
Was it Wind Waker?
Yeah.
The Tunic of the Winds, right?
I'm pretty sure that. And then you also have like Majora's Mask and everything.
He had the Outset Island blue tunic with the crab on it.
Yep.
And he also had the one from Link to the Past that was kind of pink, right?
Did you have to get those from dyeing them, or did you get them from dyeing them?
From I never got them.
Got them from the amiibo.
Okay. Yeah, the amiibos. Yeah. Okay.
Like Wolf Link and what, but I never got the chance to summon those because I never had a chance to buy the amiibos.
And the only other one that I think you can unlock in the game from getting all of the shrines was the Hero of Time. I think. I can't remember. Okay. I know you get something really special from it because I made sure I got all those shrines. They were angering me.
I missed, I think, two shrines that weren't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm 2 or 3 down. I started going for 100%, but then I restarted and was like, I'm gonna go 100% on master mode because I'm hardcore. And then I just never. I beat the elephant, and then I decided, nah. And then the next time I picked it up was with the VR, and I played some VR with it, and it was cool and stuff. But just it's too many games. If we only had the Wii U library, I would have played Breath of the Wild 5 times. But with the Switch library as it is, it's difficult to play that one like 2 or 3 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely true.
And what game any games you guys looking forward to this week? Is there anything coming out this week, the next week? I think the next two big titles are Link's Awakening and Untitled Goose Game. I think those are the two next big titles coming out.
Can you explain the Untitled Goose Game, though? And then, David, go ahead.
The Untitled Goose Game.
I really want to play it.
That game, I am so like all about Untitled Goose Game, dude. That game looks so ridiculous. You are a goose, okay? Are you with me? You're a goose, and then you're gonna walk up to people, and then you honk at them. All right, you honk at them, and they get surprised, and then they get mad at the goose, and then the goose runs away. And so you keep doing this, and you got yourself a Game of the Year contender. You know, we got to replace goat with goose. Game of all time, best game of all time, or something like that. Goose Game, dude. I'll tell you what. I wish it wasn't coming out on the 20th because it has to compete against Link's Awakening, and I don't know how Link's Awakening is going to fare against this game.
Oh, it'll do fine. Oh man,
I think it's going to be a very streamable game.
Oh yeah,
and games that are very streamable, even in the face of like big releases, still fare well, because everybody's going to be streaming this game. Everyone's going to be covering it, but Twitch is going to love to see big time streamers or whatever react to this Goose Game. It's going to be like a meme or something.
I think Untitled Goose Game is the game I was all about Link's Awakening that weekend, but now it's going to be Untitled Goose Game. That I can't believe some game actually upped because Zelda Link's Awakening is my 5th favorite game of all time, and the artwork is just, I love that artwork. The more I look at it, the more I love it. And I never hated it to begin with, but the more I'm just like, yeah, this Link.
There was a lot of people that hated Wind Waker, and then so many of those people turned around and said it's like one of the best Zelda games ever made.
Oh yeah, it still holds up.
Same thing is happening now. They're like, yeah, I don't like it. It's going to be a fantastic game.
Oh yeah, it'll hold up. It'll hold up. Yeah, if they try to go too realistic, then no. And the only reason why anything after Breath of or Wind Waker, I think is just going to hold up because they stopped trying to be ultra realistic. Well, maybe Skyward Sword. I don't know how that holds up, but when you're trying not to be ultra realistic, you have a pretty good the shade cell, the cell shading and all that stuff allows the game to really hold up. We got about 7 minutes left of the show tonight. Looks like it turned out to be a Zelda centric, which is fine by me because I love Zelda. Just to let you know, David, I'm changing Friday Night Smash to Sunday Night Smash. So
nice.
So tomorrow will be I did have it last night, but tomorrow is going to be the first Sunday Night Smash. So if that fits your schedule better, either of you, Sunday nights at
every other Sunday, then I can still do it. Cool.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Still, everything's the same. You win 7 in a row, you get the belt. Yeah. So that's just something on the horizon. And that will allow me to stream more on Fridays, just anything. Because Friday games come out and it's like, I want to stream Astro Chain, but I have to stream Smash Brothers later. And it's just kind of, I don't want video games to be I don't want to become a chore to play a video game as opposed to something else. And so this will allow me to just kind of continuously enjoy it. So the weekend will be pretty dominantly for live streaming while the weekdays are whatever. But on top, jumping back to the Goose Game, David, what did you think about the Untitled Goose Game? My interpretation of it, or what you've heard, are you excited at all, or are you just like, this is some dumb goose simulator?
I think it's funny. The concept of it's great. I think that, I think it'll be good seeing you and maybe play it and getting your reaction and you relaying that information to us. I think it'll be great. It's kind of like Octodad or
Octodad.
or like a simulator game of sorts where people are just gonna play it and maybe it can spawn a sequel and become very very popular, and then maybe we can see him in Smash or something.
Oh yeah, the Goose for Smash Brothers all the way. If that Goose,
He'll be OP. He'll be OP.
if that Goose does not get into Smash Brothers, we riot. I'm telling you what.
Would you want justice for Goose or justice for Waluigi?
Ooh, don't make me choose. That's like choosing Abraham or Cornelius right now. Like which one do I go for?
Man.
I guess I'd have to play the Goose game before, because what if that Goose game's a dud? What if it's just honking? But then again, maybe that's all it needs. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it'll do good. I think it'll do great.
It definitely like Goat Simulator. That game was intentionally made to be buggy and glitchy and look horrible, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and last I saw Goat Simulator, I almost bought Goat Simulator to hold me off, but then it was like $20 or something, and I was like, nah. I'm just gonna go with the Goat. I'm gonna go with the Goose. The Goose Simulator. I remember when that popped up on that Nintendo Direct, and everybody was just like, what the heck is this? And everybody just cracked up. Everybody was cracking up. Calf, one of these days, I don't know how to play your stage on Friday Night Smash. That's the problem. And hello, Humphrey. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name right. But my day is good. How's your days? You guys having good days?
So far.
Devin, good day.
Good, yeah.
David, good day. All right. Humphrey.
Labor Day is imminent.
Yeah, the day's Labor Day weekend. Yippee-ki-yay. Unfortunately, though, Humphrey, this is the pretty much we're about to close out the podcast. So if you're interested in watching more of the podcast, I recommend just...
Did you say Humphrey?
I don't know. Hyphy. Hyphy.
Like wifey, but with the H.
Okay, wifey, hyphy.
I thought you said Humphrey, like Humpty Dumpty. Where am I looking at?
I think I was saying Humphrey. Like I don't know. I pronounce. You guys want?
I'm not making fun of you. I promise.
No, go for it. Make fun of me because you like. I pronounce names so weird sometimes that like I deserve it. Like just take an extra second, Ken, and read. But so that's pretty much it. So Hyphy, go check out the beginning of the podcast. We talked a lot about Zelda today. We do this every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go about an hour. Tomorrow will be Sunday Night Smash, be the first time, and yeah, I think that's about it. Anyone have anything to add?
Not at the moment. I'm good.
Play Astral Chain. That's all I gotta say. Play it.
Yeah, I've been hearing Astral Chain is a must get. I have yet to play, so I can't endorse it as a must get, but from everything I hear from both of you guys to the bigger YouTubers, everybody's saying Astro Chain is off the chain, which is pretty crazy in that Astro Chain is literally a game that came out of nowhere. We've had Bayonetta 3 in the works for a year and a half, 2 years now, and Astro Chain has 6 months? We heard about it 6 months ago, maybe, and now it's here, and everybody's saying it's the game to get. So Astro Chain, check it out, everybody.
I know Chris was saying he got it, but he hasn't played it. So play it and give Platinum Games your money so we can get a really, really good and polished Bayo 3.
Yeah, and maybe an Astro Chain 2 even. I don't know.
Yeah,
So, guys, it's dangerous to go alone. Please share this channel with a friend. We're just trying to grow a cool community. We got one already, but let's grow it to be a little bigger, and we'll just go from there. Guys, have a great night.